In this week's full masculine feminine reading, all karmic relationships, all circumstances that are stopping the masculine from experiencing love with the feminine fall down, because it is time. The link is below. Click below for that. Thank you for being here. You rock my entire world. You are the one. Hey, gorgeous. Whoa, how are you? Oh, I was just even thinking I just had a problem recording. I tried to press record and it wasn't working, but I think that needed to happen because my vibe, every time I come to record for you, my vibe, I'm so like off, my vibration is so high, I'm just very, very high. And I think that just had to take me down a bit. So then I was thinking, maybe it's because I was like, why is this happening every time I go to record? It's like I'm on cloud 9, like can't wipe the smile off my face for no reason. And I think that it's because I was like, you need an injection of high vibe. So it must be. Because I do think that it's been a bit challenging. And if it's not challenging, this is the message that I have. Carrying on from the Venus retro message from last week, and it's really, really important. It's been downloading this morning very strongly. This current time, whether you want to attribute it to the astrology or not, doesn't matter, because the only reason I noticed and got somewhat into the astrological impact of things is because it was the same, there's the sun, it was the same, because if you don't believe in the astrological impact, the sun, that was what that message was, hello, the sun, hello. Anyway, I got into astrology because it was the same messages that I was, an energy and, you know, kind of collective experience that I was experiencing. Gosh, I mean, seriously, I should probably just try and communicate that a bit more effectively. But yes, the astrology was lining up with what the energy that I was tuning into. And so whether you believe or want to attribute it to the astrology or not, there is something very, very, very important going on right now in terms of either going back to the past. Going back to the past could be a past life even. It could be suddenly you're into past life regression. It could be even regression to birth regression. It could be pre-birth issues. It could be, it could be any part of your childhood. It could be something that happened this summer. In the Northern Hemisphere, over the past few months. So it's about going back to the past, but I do feel for most, it's going back to some kind of childhood thing, whether it's conscious or not, to do with the mother, the feminine, the mother energy. There's something going on right now. So if people are triggering you, so it's a very triggering kind of time, but if the awareness is, if somebody's triggering you, it's probably to do with it's something to do with something important, a belief you picked up as a child, something like that. If you're not experiencing, this was the biggest message I had, if you're not experiencing that there's something challenging going on, don't miss the opportunity. It's a bit like when you go to the doctor for a full medical, or you take the car in for a full service. This is basically what this period of time is. So if you don't experience anything wrong, not wrong. It's just there's something that you're not, there's always something more to see. So, I mean, I guess if you're not experienced, it's just there's an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity for growth. And even if it's not a problem, it's seeing it more clearly. So say if we take the example of the body. So what this time is for analysis, is to look at things more deeply, more closely, and it might not be that comfortable. But even if there's nothing wrong, it's about, oh, how does this work? How does that work? Oh, look at that piece of my car. Oh, you know, going through, when you're servicing it, it's more about taking the opportunity to notice, to go in depth, to not just drive the car around and not knowing what's happening. To use the metaphors like you're the car, you're the vehicle, taking it in to be serviced and looked at. That's this time. It's our service. It's our service period. It might be frustrating because we're not doing what we want to do, or we might feel like we're not able to help others. It is a very kind of self-focusing time, but it's very much connected to the family and your relationships. You know, as I said, it's a volatile time. If people are triggering you, don't blame them. And if you're not experiencing any of this, try, but it would, to be honest, and it means that you're probably operating in a little bit of an unconscious way. Sorry to say that. I know I don't like to kind of call things and well, I do in my coaching. When I'm coaching one-to-one, it's very powerful work, because it's very, very, you know, what you're not seeing, you will see, and you will grow, and you will grow super fast. If you are interested in that, I'll put the link. I do feel like there could be a couple of people that are ready, you know, so let me know. Because it's like, if you get on this train, I'm going to be launching a new product soon. So yeah, in the coaching sphere, I actually have a new way of looking at your soul through using numerology and vibration, which I find really interesting and fascinating. So I'm going to be integrating that into my work. I already am. And what I do my whole life is about you. I live in a non-dual experience, which is that there isn't really any separation. So I can't, the I of me is you, you know, is you. There's no separation, and that's not in a kind of attached way. It's very, very difficult to verbalize, but it's a little, you know, it is a bit of, I can't be you. What's that song? You be you and I'll be me, you know, that, like that. It's kind of that kind of energy. Anyway, I know some people just want me to talk about the cards, but the message, those messages are, you know, we don't need cards to divine messages. They can be useful, and I find that the tarot is very useful for detail. Because I think it's the most detailed, because it's like a language. They're like letters, and there's so many variables. There's so much room for information to come through in the tarot. I might make a video this week about how to use my spread, actually. Let me know if you're interested in that. Comment below if you're interested in learning about the spread. This was divined. We'll call it the divine love spread, and it was divined from the divine, as is everything. So anyway, cool beans. Let's see what the bottom of the deck is for this week. Message for this week, for you special beings, for you. Yay! Boom! Ten of Pentacles. This is the payoff. The word I have is the payoff. So, oh, this is interesting. I feel like this is a bit of a shift. So I think this might be a little bit of a retrospective message about, you know, it's kind of like it's your last chance to get down in there, and if there's something not working, you can see it, and then when we can see things, we can fix things. I think a lot of the time, especially within spirituality, this, again, the cards are talking about me. Like, this is for the win. You know, the thing I just said, everything I just said is like, you're going to get a payoff. That's it. There's a payoff. People in general, and like I said, especially I find within spirituality, this is about material, the material world, yeah? People can use spiritual ideas, what we call spiritual ideas, for me there isn't any separation, but this is the word, you know, to not see quite often. I know people call it like spiritual bypassing, but that's not right. I mean, I find that people do this when you wouldn't call it like spiritual it's too obvious. What people call spiritual bypassing is too obvious. And it's not just within spirituality, it's all the time. People don't want to see. They use something, a story, as a distraction of seeing. What this card is saying, this the opportunity to see is to make us successful in our lives in every single possible way. This is completion in a very material, physical way. So in order to achieve, and the word is wholeness, wholeness. I have always, when people talk about healing, I've never liked the word healing, because it kind of, also because people that call themselves healers, sometimes they can, you know, create problems. Healing, you need a problem to be healed. That doesn't mean that we don't have to look at things that aren't working optimally. So if something isn't working optimally, but I've always preferred the term whole, to become whole. This is what this card is. It's about wholeness. So we are all made up of positive and negative, dark, light, masculine, feminine, blah, blah, energy. But so when we access all of it, this opportunity now to go into the darkness or the heaviness or the underworld, to look deep down into the foundations of who we are. This is an opportunity. If you do not grasp this opportunity, please grasp this opportunity. Don't distract yourself by not experiencing it. It needn't be that difficult, but it's just people are going to be showing you things. Everyone's a mirror to show you something, so get ready. It's like an exercise. It's like everyone's a mirror showing you something. So just, if you can be in that awareness, it's an opportunity for huge wholeness. And in that wholeness, you will experience your dream grounded here on earth, no matter what that is. No matter what that is. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your dream is. There's nothing spiritual or not spiritual, or you are made of love. As long as you are you are love. That's it. That's it. Like, and you are intuitive. We are born with such high intuition. I was reading a book about reading a book about infant development and neurobiology, basically, not just about that, but and about how the brain is kind of formed. But before we develop our reasoning, because we don't have, the brain isn't, you know, we are completely psychic beings, and it's important that we maintain our connection to our intuition, because it's powerful in terms of achieving our destiny, our soul destiny. And I believe that everybody has a soul destiny to experience this. And I promise you, my whole life is about this for everybody in the whole entire world, including myself. because I can't and that's something to experience and be aware of too. This is about giving and receiving. It's always happening, giving and receiving, communication, community. This is marriage, this is joy, this is community, this is, you know, buildings, this is a regality to this. This is ancestry, this is animals, this is children, this is, you know, this is everything. This is the full experience of being human and being alive and being present and being free. Free and grounded. People can experience this juxtaposition between spirit, their kind of awareness of their soul body, I guess, and then feeling like it's dense down here. And this is, you can experience freedom in the apparent density. And I think that's also why it's important that we access that density, or the difficult doesn't feel so good. This is the difference, and this is something important. I always say to people when I'm working with them in general, anybody, if it feels good to you, that's all I want. I will kind of invite you somewhere, but you've got to go with what feels good to you. But then at the same time, people only have the capacity to kind of feel good about, you know, that you know, if someone's not seeing and not really connected to themselves, seeing and looking and evaluating themselves is not going to feel good. It depends how healthy your ego is. It depends how healthy your sense of self is to be able to look at oneself, one's positive and negative aspects. But I feel like right now we're being invited to really expand our health of our sense of self, to be able to then explore maybe the more dense, darker things that we don't want to see, essentially. This is what I find interesting, is that it's like exploring the kind of underworld, but there's light there. You are the light. We're taking the light into the underworld of ourselves to see it. There's no lack of light there, you know? So it's just to see in the things we can't necessarily see. It's to do a little bit of a, you know, to cut ourselves wide open, and it's really vulnerable. But it's an opportunity for connection, and it's an opportunity to reach wholeness. And the reason why I've gone on about it for 16, 17 minutes here is because it's really, really important. So, a huge message, really, really, really important message. And there's a payoff. This is the payoff. So if it feels challenging, if it feels like, you know, you don't want to do it, there's a feeling of it. I mean, I've had it personally, and it feels like, why am I doing it? A little bit of me is like, I don't want to look, in general, I don't really want to look at things that I don't want more of. Why am I giving that attention? But if life keeps drawing you there, it's like, no, you need to see this. There's something powerful that you can work out here. If there's any smudges on the windshield, that's stopping you from seeing, we have to like zoom in and like give it like clean it all up, super clean it, so that we can, wow, I can see, and then you just become much better. So I hope that makes sense. And let's see that I believe there is an opposition this week of like Mars and Venus. So I mean, this masculine feminine is going to be really interesting. So let's see, first card for the masculine.